just wanted to acknowledge the funders for making this program possible. And they are the Novo Nordisk Diabetes and Obesity Health in Mississauga Fund, the Community Foundation of Mississauga. And they are a registered charitable public foundation serving the people of Mississauga. So they made these wonderful workshops possible for all of us. I'd like to move into the next part, which is just the icebreaker and participant introduction. If you can just introduce yourself, so your name or what you're known as, maybe a nickname if you prefer, and name one food that you can simply not live without. So I see we have, I think another person who joined. That's great. Maybe we can get a head start with Hien. I have you first on my list, if you don't mind just introducing yourself and naming again one food that you cannot live without. Absolutely not.
Okay, my name is Hien. Just call me Hien. In the food, because I'm from Vietnam, so the Vietnamese people, they eat rice every day. Yeah. So, yeah.
That's one food you cannot live without?
Yeah, because
that's great. Thank you,
eat rice every day.
That's great. Okay, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
So the next person I have is Pilar. If you don't mind just also introducing yourself and sharing one thing that you cannot live without, one food you just love. Pilar, are you there? If not, we can skip to maybe Shaibi.
Yeah.
Oh, here's Pilar. Hi.
Yeah, hello everyone. Yeah, my name is Pilar. Yeah, you can call me Pilar or Pili if you want. And I think like what I love is like fruits, right? So yep, I
Fruits?
can live my life just eating fruits. I really love them. So yeah.
That's good. Any particular fruit or just all of them?
No, oranges, strawberries. No,
Okay,
I think
that's
all of them, honestly. Yeah, I think it's because you know, I am from Colombia, and this is one of the things that we have like a huge variety. So here in Canada, I really miss all of them. So yeah, maybe that's why. Yep.
Okay,
thank
that's
you.
great. Thank you so much for sharing. So the next person I have on my list is, let's see, Shaibi.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
My name is Shaibi. I'm from India, and I don't have any specific food that I love so much. I love all type of foods.
All type of foods. Okay, that's great. That's fair enough. So you can't live with food in general. You cannot live without food. Okay, excellent. Thank you so much, Ivy. The next person we have is Samalpreet. If you can please just introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Samalpreet. You can call me Somo for short because my name's way too long. One food that I can't live without is pizza. I just love pizza. Yeah.
I was gonna say pizza. That's great. That's one of my favorite foods too. And I let Chef Burgi and Amber to also mention what they love. But I was gonna mention that even though we're not going to be making pizza during these workshops, these 5 workshops that we have planned, we do have it in the recipe book that I will be sharing with you that Chef Burgi put together. And yeah, maybe you can try that on your own. So. Anyways, thank you everyone for participating in our little intro and icebreaker. I'm going to head it over to Chef Burgi to introduce herself and tell us a little bit about her background, but also tell us what her favorite food is that she cannot live without.
Thank you very much, Kate. I cannot see you ladies, and I see we are ladies. There's no gentleman in the whole program here who's joining us on this journey of the diabetes. I'm not really was into diabetes so much because I don't really need it to. But when I look at all the recipes, okay, then I think I should be going on the diabetes eating habits too, because they're much healthier than the rest of the other habits we have. Knowing Kate over the years, she brought me more and more into being vegetarian. So I'm a chef, I'm a pastry chef by trade, and now I teach And over the last couple of years, now 3 years, I do not eat meat anymore, but I still teach about meat. We have chicken today, so I also make meat. I also teach it, whatever. And I have to say, my favorite thing I couldn't live out is Apfelstrudel. So it also answers you the question already where I'm from.
Yummy.
So being Austrian, there's a lot of desserts. So that's why I smuggled in the dessert part, what we have on the last day. And I remember Amber saying, desserts? I don't know very much about desserts, but we will make some desserts in this workshop. And I hope we're gonna have fun by doing so.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Chef Burgi. I'm going to now ask Amber to quickly introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Amber. You can call me Amber. It's really nice to hear all of you and listening to everyone. So we're going to learn a lot through these sessions. And yes, food is our main. I would always say that we all love food and we should not change our eating habits, but we can modify eating habits towards healthier us. I really like the way, the fact that Chef Burgi is talking about liking desserts, and it's okay, just the portion control and healthier options, which Chef Burgi is gonna teach us. The food that I love is actually, Hien, you are not alone. I love rice too. I'm South Asian and I feel like every food, every combination we make, it has rice. So yeah, it's interesting and it's challenging the different ways of rice that you can make. Definitely in Chef Burgi's recipe book, you guys can see so many recipes of rice, but in every culture, you see different forms of rice cooking. So thanks everyone for joining us. Hopefully you guys will learn through these sessions.
All right, thank you so much, Amber. We are going to move to the next part of our presentation, the really exciting fun part, which is cooking. So I'm going to give the stage to Chef Burgi right now. She's gonna tell us a little bit about what the recipe is. And again, I'm gonna be sharing a resource via the chat, and I'll also send you an email with the resource where you can access the recipe booklet, among other things. Chef Burgi will also just talk about the ingredients, what you need, and we'll go into the steps in preparation.
All right, here we go. Okay, I'm very excited to make some salad for you. So we're gonna do some chicken soya bean salad, so full of protein and lots of vitamins and lots of good stuff what we can eat. So I'm gonna start, first of all, I'm gonna roast the sesame seeds because in the end, I wanna put some sesame seeds on there. We also have some tahini in there, it's also made out of sesame seeds for the dressing of the salad. So let me show you. One thing I wanted to talk to you about is the olive oil. Always buy olive oil, what is in a dark bottle, and you can spend a little bit extra money. Do not use a very expensive olive oil for cooking because all the good stuff disappears. So use it more when you have a salad, or in this example, we just use a little bit for our sesame seeds. So I put a little bit oil, don't need much, in my pan. And in the meantime, I'm gonna warm the pan. So I have some water here where I'm gonna put the chicken in. So that's around 300 milliliters. In the recipe, it says 150 milliliters. If you use it also to put a whole chicken in there, don't throw out the jus after. So the juice after. Keep it and you can make yourself some soup. So in the meantime, the oil is getting hot and I'm gonna put the sesame seeds in there. You see, I have some raw one and some skin. Just needs to be hot a little bit. You be careful, please, because sesame seeds start to dance. Okay, we have the the lady from Colombia, she knows, you know, little ramba jamba dancing, the sesame seeds will do it in there. So it's already starting. I don't need it roasted too much. You see, it's already starting. I'm just gonna leave the rest of it brown in the pan while I'm turning up the gas. The beauty about gas is, I'm gonna put this over it for now so it doesn't jump on me. The beauty with gas is the heat is up right away. When you have an electric stove or whatever, it takes a little bit longer to get the heat down. Okay, in the meantime, I'm gonna put a little bit lemon. It says in the recipe I have for you there, it says you should put just lemon in it. I find lemon by itself, it's very good, very healthy, but it will taste boring. So put a little bit more lemon in there. First of all, gives it a nice flavor. Oh, here's all the other seasoning. Okay, let me tell you a little bit about seasoning. I don't know, you probably know most of it. A little of the cayenne pepper, because you come from countries where little spices will do you well. So I put that in the juice. I found that amazing, I don't know if you know it, Arabic spices. What's in there is some cinnamon, some clove, some you have to smell that, Kate.
Ooh,
it is
very
amazing.
nice.
Just to get a little bit of the flavor. When we boil the chicken in there, then we have, of course, some pepper.
So we are adding all these spices in the water, right?
What's the question?
Are we adding all these spices in the water? Yes,
Yes.
we are.
Are in the water, and I have a little bit.
I guess to marinate the chicken.
Yeah, the kitchen.
The kitchen too.
As well.
So,
There
and
we go.
actually we have a question also, Chef, if you can talk about how to make this recipe vegetarian, because not everybody eats meat.
Okay, if you are vegetarian, instead of the chicken, you use the same other or ingredients what I have on the recipe. Instead of the chicken, you can take tofu. You can take monk fruit. You can take lentils. You can take potatoes. Take sweet potatoes if it's too much starchy, so use some sweet potatoes. So you can take whatever you want to put it extra in. Some beans, you know, some black beans or something. Okay.
What about the edamame seeds that you will be using? Are they a source of protein, Amber or Chef?
Yes, they are. Yeah, they're more on top actually for the flavor. I'm just looking at where.
So maybe we can just skip the meat and then it's still full and bursting with protein.
Absolutely. Yeah. But if you want it a little bit further, you can also roast a little bit of the tofu or the monk fruit. Monk fruit we use in the vegan as a substitute for chicken, and really it tastes almost like chicken.
I 100% agree with the chef. It's edamame beans are bringing a very high quality protein. It's one of the bestest type of soya bean, and we can definitely use maybe extra quantity. You can use another type of bean, tofu. I really like the idea when chef suggested about the potatoes. So this salad that we're going to make doesn't contain a lot of carbohydrates, and we actually suggested to balance it to have maybe some yogurt with that. So if you're having potatoes, you will get the texture into the salad that chicken would have brought, and also have some potatoes in it to bring the texture in place of chicken. So nutritionally, with the addition of beans and edamame is definitely doing the justice. For the texture, I actually like the idea of sweet potatoes with more color, more flavorings, and the texture into the salad. So thanks, Chef. And I know you are at the next step.
Thank you, Amber. You see, that's why we have you there, because you can explain everything to the teeth. All right. So I'm going to put the chicken now in the marinated juice I made there. Okay. I'm just gonna put it up, put the heat up, sorry. Burn your hands. I'm just gonna put the heat up for a moment so it starts to bubble a little bit, so for boiling. But when it boils, I'm just gonna turn it down and leave it in there for around 5 minutes.
So Chef Burgi, I actually have a question. I love how you're using the water and the spices to marinate the chicken and add flavor. Is there another, like if you wanted it to be really flavorful, could you perhaps take the tofu if you're vegetarian or the chicken and marinate it with all this great stuff and maybe with some oil and even sesame seeds in the fridge for a few hours or overnight?
Well, you don't have to boil it. You can put it on the grill, for instance, you know, and
Okay.
then cut it. So yes, absolutely, marinate it in whatever you want, in some garlic, in garlic salt, and barbecue, you know, seasoning, stuff like that. Whatever you can do, make it tasty. This is only for you to show you how you can do it. You can always make it better.
Excellent. Okay,
So
thank you for that.
you also saw that I separated very much where I work with the chicken and where I work
We
with
lost the
salad.
video.
So,
Yes, I'm sorry about that. Go on, Chef.
okay. So after I've worked with the chicken for a moment, I'm gonna wash my hands. I just wanna talk for a second. Just wanna talk for a second about raw chicken.
Food safety.
I hear people telling me, okay, and even I had students who were screaming because I didn't wash and bleach the chicken. Do not wash your chicken. Do not bleach it. Don't rub it with lemon or whatever. Don't do that. Because when you do that, not only then you rub the bacteria into the chicken, okay, you also put it on the counters. You put it on all the other things that the chicken touches in that moment. Okay? When you boil it or you put it on the grill, everything what is bad on the chicken is going to be dead anyways because you burned it. And the chicken have to have at least inside, it has to be cooked inside, so at least by 81 degrees, okay? So make that one of the things. I see people do it wrong all the time, and you don't want to poison your family at home. One more thing I forgot, I have a little fresh oregano, okay? I'm gonna put that to the chicken too, all right?
Ooh,
You can also put it to the salad.
just to add some more
Or you
flavor. I love
just
that.
leave it. Look at this, it looks amazing already.
Looks lovely. So I have a quick question for Amber, actually. So Amber, is it true that with diabetes, since today we're sort of talking about diabetes and it's intro to diabetes, let's debunk some of those myths, you know? So is it true that people with diabetes get sick more often? Now that we're talking about food safety, it kind of feels like a good place to kind of ask that question.
No. So basically, diabetes doesn't make your immunity weaker if it is well controlled. But if the diabetes is not well controlled and their blood sugars are high, then they are susceptible to many other health conditions. And yes, acute illnesses like getting flu, they make it more vulnerable. It's very easy for people who have uncontrolled diabetes, which is why we always recommend those people who are living with diabetes, they get flu shots every year. Because diabetes is also making them vulnerable. They also suggested a vaccine which is known as pneumonia vaccine that they should be taking at the time of diagnosis. And then after every 5 years, we would suggest that they should have pneumonia vaccine. So I think the bottom line is diabetes doesn't cause any problem until you don't bother diabetes. Make sure that your diabetes is under control. You speak to your family doctor, you get your blood work done regularly, you speak to your diabetes team, which may include a certified diabetes educator, a dietitian, or a certified diabetes educator nurse. And all of these people are there to help you. I know maybe all of you are not even living with diabetes, but because of a very highest rate of diabetes in region of Peel, we always know someone who have diabetes. So it's a very important point that will I get sick more often because I have diabetes? As long as your diabetes is well controlled, then no, you should be okay. You're a normal, healthy, well-being, and like every other person is prone to get any other illnesses. Yes, you are, but higher risk is with more when it is uncontrolled diabetes. So I hope I answered your question, but feel free to write your questions if you need more clarification on these grounds.
Yes, thank you so much, Amber, for that. I think that helps clarify some of the false assumptions about the condition. So now we're gonna go back to Chef Burgi, and we're gonna see what she is up to with these lovely tomatoes.
Well, if you have little cherry tomatoes, for instance, you don't need to take the peel off. I have a problem with things like apples. If they have a peel on, I like to peel it. And, you know, you can't take a peel of this one and peel it off. So how do you peel the tomatoes? I don't know if you ladies already know it. If not, I will show you anyways. Okay. So what you do is you take the stem out. Okay.
Now I see that you're using a very small knife. Is there a reason for that, Chef?
It's easier for you. This is what you call a vegetable knife. So I don't want to see anybody doing this, please, because you can cut yourself really badly with it. And that's for doing bigger cutting. And this is a chef's knife. This is a serrated knife, and this is a vegetable knife. So I'm using the vegetable knife, this as well, a serrated vegetable. Now I make a little cross in the back.
So sorry, for those of you who don't know, what can you show us up close? What is a serrated knife?
This is a serrated knife, for instance. Okay,
All
serrated knife is so-called bread knife.
It has all those ridges.
So when you cut, for instance, tomatoes, or you cut peppers, or you cut something, but the skin goes with the knife when you use it. Okay, especially when your knives are not too sharp, it's hard for you to cut it through. You use a serrated knife. Cuts through faster. So now I have some water boiled over here. Okay, now I'm gonna put those tomatoes for a minute or two into the boiling water. I don't want the tomatoes to get boiled, but I want the skin to come off the tomato, so I don't have to eat it. So while this one is boiling for a minute.
Chef, what do we call this process?
Oh, this is blanched.
Blanching.
Is that true, Amber?
Absolutely. I was thinking we should have asked the audience. we should test their knowledge.
So before Chef goes into her next step, Amber, would you like to talk about some of the benefits with blanching in terms of nutritional aspects?
Absolutely. So blanching is one of the very, like, I would say, approved method, because in this method we are not, someone write it down. It's someone, oh, it's you, Kate. I thought someone is as our audience. Blanching, we are not cooking the vegetables at a very high temperature, and we are not letting them boil. And that's what Chef was keep on repeating herself, that we are not boiling. Because what happened when we boil the vegetable, water soluble vitamins in the vegetable, and I'm talking generally, most of the vegetables have water soluble vitamins. They, as the name says, they get soluble into the water, and then they are discarded. Like, who's gonna drink that water? It's gone. So never advise to boil vegetables. Even if you are making soups, we will use that water, so that's fine, but still we don't overcook the vegetable because we're going to destroy the vitamins. They are quite sensitive. Blanching, easy method, just dip it in, and again, because the recipe calls for no skin, we can always remove that. One more part that we were discussing when we were talking about this recipe, not obviously, it doesn't have to be our audience and listeners, but we know there is a health condition when people are actually told not to have skin and seeds for their diet because it may bother their bowel. The fancy name is irritable bowel syndrome or any other problems in that area. We are talking down the closer to the drainage when people are not supposed to have insoluble components of food, which include seeds and skin. Blanching is a very good method. So through that, you can actually remove the skin of some of those vegetables that are quite sensitive as tomatoes, and you are still enjoying the health benefits of the same vegetable.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Amber.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what's next, Chef
Okay.
Burgi?
Now, let me show you. You see, the skin is coming up.
Ooh, wow.
All right.
And you were cooking this or boiling this for like a minute?
It was only a minute.
All
Now it's so easy
Wow,
to take the skin
peel.
up.
Mm,
Okay, and you don't need to eat it.
love that.
All right.
Can you
Yeah.
use it into something else if you wanted to?
The skin?
Like a soup stock or something,
You
or
could,
veggie stock?
you could, yeah. When, like I said before, don't throw out the stock that is left behind from the chicken, so you could put it in there. Absolutely.
Awesome. Look at those tomatoes. Look at that. Nice.
Notice one thing, none of the pulp was wasted onto the skin. Like skin just came out clean and clear.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's so nice. Yeah.
So you can use a cucumber. There's a cucumber in the recipe. You can use the cucumber with the skin off. Please, if you have the skin off, make sure that the cucumber is really washed a lot. Cucumber has one with apples and pears, one of the highest pesticides intake. So I personally always peel the cucumber. So I'm peeling it off quickly, and I washed it too. Everything I use here, it's already washed, dried up, and put it in the container. This also is good for the garden.
For our compost.
That's it.
For those of you who are gardening.
So we have the tomatoes already prepared. We have the cucumber prepared. So what I'm doing now, I'm gonna prepare my onions. These onions are coming from our garden. We do here at Seva have a garden out there. What we have beautiful salads, herbs, onions. So we have some of the scallions here. I cut a little bit more off because I just rubbed the dirt off, but you don't have to cut that much off. Okay. From the spring onions, you not even, chefs only use here usually because this has a little bit more flavor, more mild onion flavor than the rest of it.
So they use the white, not the green?
Yes, but
Oh,
you can eat the whole thing.
That's my favorite part, the
Okay.
green.
So I'm gonna cut some of it. The same time I show you knife skills. You see how I hold my hands? You see how I hold the knife?
So can you do this with a small knife?
You
If
need
don't have a big one?
chef's knife for
Oh, you
doing
need a
that.
big one.
Yeah,
Okay.
a big one. And trust me, when you use with a bigger knife, you never want to use a smaller knife anymore. Okay? Here
So
we go.
is it actually true that with a bigger knife it's more dangerous, or is it
No.
the opposite?
No. You know what's dangerous? If the knife is not sharp. That's dangerous. And
okay,
I
if it's dark.
actually constantly tell my volunteers and my students when they do something with a big knife, like peeling tomatoes and stuff, please use the vegetable knife.
Yes.
Yeah, and
So-
I can add one piece here. Another thing that is dangerous, chef, is not knowing it, the skill.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Not
You
knowing
can
what, sorry?
even- Yeah, you can hurt yourself if you just don't know how to use things. Every sharp object needs some training and being cautious, right? So, and that's why we
Absolutely.
have chef here. Like we need to just watch how she is putting her fingers on the vegetable, and then she was using the sharpest knife.
I just wanted to welcome one participant who joined us recently. Christy, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Just a reminder, we are recording the session. So if you're okay to be part of this live recording, then it's fine to keep your camera on. But if not, please turn it off.
Okay.
All right, chefs, what we're doing here, what is
Okay.
next?
The next
Okay.
thing is I'm gonna take out the chicken.
So how long did you like boil it? Like, were
How
you
long
simmering or boiling? Sorry.
No. We just let it simmer a little.
Simmer. Got
Okay.
it.
So this was simmering for around 5 minutes. Okay. So to dry it up a little,
And sorry, simmering. You mean low heat?
low heat.
Correct.
So it only bubbles very little.
Nice.
Okay, that is simmering. Okay, if nothing really, you need to boil.
Lovely. Okay.
So I'm taking the chicken out so it can cool down. So I'm not gonna burn my fingers after.
Yeah.
Right. We also see here with the sesame, they're nicely roasted. So all my preparation is coming really nicely together.
Did you put oil? You did, right? I forget that.
I put
step.
a touch of the olive oil, but I didn't really overheat it. So I put the sesame there and then the roast, and then I covered it up because the sesame started to dance.
Nice. So here's a question for you, chef. Sorry
Yeah.
for so many questions.
No,
Feel free to
that's-
stop me at any point. But I love roasting sesame seeds, but I never use oil.
You can
Is
roast
that-
it
is that
without the oil
fine?
too. Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. I like the taste of it. And one more thing about the olive oil is if you have a good one, when you have it with a little bit, like half a teaspoon of it to try it, it has to almost burn a little when it goes down your throat. That's when you can see you have a real good olive oil. Okay.
So
All
you-
right.
You don't mean when it's hot. It's just the flavor of it.
No, it's the flavor of the olive oil.
Okay.
Of course, when it's hot.
You're not
it's kind of
encouraging us
burnt.
to drink it, right?
So now I have all those ingredients here, what I need. I'm gonna cut
Are these from the garden?
those ones from the garden as
Ooh,
well.
lovely.
Also, those are radish.
Microgreens
Yes,
or
microgreens.
seedlings?
Seedlings, yeah.
Little baby plants?
What we have in the garden as well. I also have the soya beans here, edamame.
Lovely. So did you cook or
I didn't cook, they're cooked already.
oh they're cooked?
Yeah.
Were they frozen or
They are frozen,
Okay.
they're cooked already. So yeah, Amber, you can explain a little bit more about the soya beans, about the edamame, but what I understand is those are the original one with still the peel on it.
so you just defrost them? You kind of leave them in the
Yes,
fridge
yes.
until
I leave
how
them
many
in the
hours?
fridge. You can also roast them. You can also put them for a moment
Okay,
into
nice.
the juice where the chicken is made. Gives it the flavor for the salad.
How long did it defrost?
Oh, it doesn't take too long.
Too
You
long.
take them out, it takes 10 minutes.
Great.
So edamame beans, as chef already said, it is one of the finest soya bean. Yes, you can eat it from the thaw stage after being frozen. It is safe. Some people still prefer to boil them, maybe because of the hardness, but again, it is safe. It is a very it easily come out of the pot. So literally it slips out of the pot and ready to eat. Edamame, also known as bean on the branch, because of they slip out so quickly from the pot, they call it ready to eat, ready to serve. And as we already said, because of why we think that soya bean is the bestest protein, because as we all know that there is a classification of protein. There are complete proteins and incomplete proteins. Chef, please stop me if you want to continue the recipe and I will resume my discussion later. Edamame bean is from the vegetarian source, but they are complete protein. Otherwise, other than edamame or soya bean category, it is very difficult to have complete protein from the vegetarian options. A classic example is lentils. So lentils are still complete protein, but not as good protein as beans. So either edamame beans, then we can come down kidney beans, chickpeas, two types of chickpeas, the black chickpea and the brown chickpea. They are all good quality proteins. For non-vegetarian people, it's very easy because the animal sources of proteins are mostly complete. And yes, I am sorry, but this discrepancy is from the nature, from up there. But what we can do as being nutritional experts and you guys being here listening to us, we can definitely achieve complete proteins from vegetarian sources. And edamame bean is one of the classic example of a complete protein. I will also review some of the vegetarian combinations of complete protein in our coming up sessions, because I know there are so many people who are vegetarian and they want to make sure they will consume complete protein and they cannot eat edamame beans and other beans all the time. So we will definitely always bringing this topic up because I think everyone needs protein. Protein is a very important bodybuilding nutrient. So all of us should have a good amount of protein every day. Yes, I think Chef is ready for the next.
So actually, Amber, before we move on, I think this is a great place to just, or point to ask you a quick follow-up question. We're talking so much about protein, which we all know is good for us. But what about carbs? I hear that carbs are bad for diabetes, for people who have diabetes. Is that a truth or a lie?
It's definitely a myth, a misconception. There are three main nutrients in the world of nutrition. Carbohydrate is one of the very important nutrients for all people. Our human body needs carbohydrate as a primary source of energy. Carbohydrate goes inside the body and break down into glucose or sugar, and that is the primary source of energy. Protein doesn't give us energy. Protein is a body building nutrient. When I eat protein, protein goes and it has very important tasks inside the body. And that's why we need to eat complete protein, either from vegetarian or non-vegetarian sources. Carbohydrates, they are also very important nutrient for our body because of their primary function of providing us energy. The problem is we may not choose the healthy carbohydrate. So carbohydrates are in different types and forms, healthy and non-healthy carbohydrates, like simple carbohydrate as in sugars, as in juices. They go into the body, there is no fiber, they just impact it so quickly, they give us the burst of sugar, desserts, chocolate, pure sugar, they are not good. But if you are eating carbohydrate from the complex forms, like fruits, because they are coming with fiber, having whole wheat grains, choosing all the carbohydrate starches that are high in fiber, for example, brown bread versus white bread, brown rice versus white rice, whole wheat pasta versus plain pasta. I know one of our participants love pizza. We all love pizza, but try to make it from whole wheat flour. So try to choose a good quality carbohydrate. Don't hate carbohydrate. Have a moderate quantity in your diet, but from different sources. Carbohydrate is also present in milk and yogurt, so that is also a good quality carbohydrate. Obviously, no fiber, but it contains carbohydrate with protein and calcium. So again, a bonus. Then fruits and then whole grain starches. So have moderate quantity and a good quality carbohydrates.
Excellent. Thank you for that. And we will be talking in the next upcoming workshops about, I think, the plate method and carbohydrate counting. So hopefully you all will be able to join us for that. All right, Chef, back to you. Sorry about this little distraction with nutrition facts.
It's very important.
All right, what are we doing next?
Okay, I'm assembling the salad now. Okay. Also, it's not really in the recipe, but we have some fresh chive from the garden, and we also have a little bit mint from the garden. Give it an extra flavor, because one person was asking if I put any salt in it. I did not put any salt in it, but I hear, and Amber, please, tell me if I'm wrong, but what I hear is if it's a non-refined sea salt, a little bit, it's okay to take it.
Yeah, basically what happened with the sea salt or the pink salt and non-refined, it has less sodium and it has the saltiness is higher. So which is really good. So what happened, like, because chef has the magical brain of combination of the flavorings. So when she's suggesting that, so she's using a very small quantity, so the worst part of the sodium is smaller, but she can enhance the flavor. As a dietitian, I can definitely endorse it by the fact only because you are using a small quantity and consuming less sodium. If people still choose to have regular salt, please still use in a small quantity, because at the end of the day, we don't want sodium in our diet.
Oh,
Right?
chef,
So,
there was, oh, I'm sorry, Amber, go ahead.
no, that's why I was just repeating it. Yeah.
There was a question in the chat that I believe I missed, so I do apologize for that. One of the questions was whether you added salt to the water that you were boiling the
I
chicken.
did not. No, I
No
did
salt.
not.
But you
That's-
could, a
You
little
could,
bit, right?
Absolutely. It's not in the recipe. I don't know how much you can take into. So that's why Amber answered the question.
Yes.
And so I didn't put any in, but there's a lot of other spices and
That
herbs in
make
there.
up for it.
It
Mhm.
makes up for it. So if
Excellent.
you can't use any salt at all, spice it up. Make
Thank
it
you for
good.
that.
Okay.
Okay.
So here I was cutting very fine some chive, and this is a little bit mint, what I'm gonna put into the salad after.
So what are chives? What's the difference between
an
green
onion.
onion and chives?
It's from the family of the onions, and actually it's the closest relative of the green onions over here because it's a little bit milder than the onions,
Lovely.
you know, the big
Oh.
onions, and it's not as sweet.
Didn't
Oh,
know
the
that.
flavor is
Yes,
amazing.
chef. This is so informative. I did not know that. The chives is the sister cousin of the spring onion.
Yes, they're all related to each other, so you have to be careful. You have to treat them all nicely, I guess. Okay? All right. What I'm doing here now, I'm gonna cut some of the tomatoes.
You mean cucumbers?
Cucumbers, sorry.
Tomatoes
I
coming
decided.
next. Love it.
All right.
Very nice cut. Are you doing it thin or semi-thin?
I
guess?
like it thin, but you can do it in any shape you like. You can do little dices, you can do
Circles.
whatever you like.
Lovely.
And next thing is the tomatoes. I like the tomatoes when they are bigger. I cut them in half. And then I slice them. You see, I'm using the serrated knife.
The bread knife.
Yeah.
Does it matter if you're using a big serrated knife or a small one at this point? Like a steak knife?
Not at all.
Doesn't
Not at
matter.
all.
All right.
Actually, you could use the small one as equally. You can use a very sharp other knife as well. Okay. If you have a very sharp regular knife, you can use it as well. Okay. And now I'm gonna put the radish
Microgreens?
microgreens.
So these are kind of sprouted little seeds. Are
Yeah.
there any benefits to that, Chef and Amber, for diabetes or for health in general? It's like people usually say, or research shows that, you know, it's good for the digestive system, especially for people who have issues. Is that true?
Absolutely. So sprouting is basically high protein, high fiber source of food. When the vegetarian it's a sprout, it adds up a lot of protein in it because you know what I was saying continuously, protein is a building nutrient. So when the plant is sprouting, it's building into a new baby or a new root. That's where the more protein come, and it's very high in fiber. Yes, it is absolutely right because it's a very good quality fiber. It is good for our bowel movement. And again, I think sprouting, we can stop talking about it because I think it's excellent source of protein for my vegetarian people who wanted to have more ideas.
Right. So at that sprouting stage, it has a lot of protein, as you mentioned. Excellent. Okay, that's great. And it's very crunchy too. I love those microgreens. There's a variety to choose from. There's sunflower microgreens, radish, you could do broccoli, you could do mung beans. So lots of different things out there.
That's right.
Okay, Chef, what's next?
Okay, I'm gonna take the mint and add it to my other greens here, to the salad greens. In the recipe, there is a cress. People ask me about a garden cress and a watercress. What is the difference? One is in water and one grows in the garden. That's the difference. So the seeds are in the water and the other one grows in the garden. And usually the cress is one of the first thing what grows in the garden. So you can use it, you know? So what I'm gonna do here.
So we do have a question, I think. Christy, if you don't mind just typing your question in the chat box and I'll try to answer that.
Yes, I type it. It's there.
Let me see.
It's about salt and sugar, you know. I type it there. It's there.
Oh, yes, I see it. Thank you. So we'll get
Mhm.
to that maybe in a minute, if that's okay. We'll just let Chef finish this quick demo. Are you done, Chef?
Yeah.
Okay, so the question is, does it, regarding salt, does it increase diabetes? Or did you want to just ask it, Christy? Sorry, those mean that salt increases diabetes or sugar?
Is the question for Amber?
So I think, Amber, the question is regarding sugar and salt in terms of it affecting diabetes. Is that correct?
Yes, please.
Okay, so salt has nothing to do with diabetes and blood sugar.
Okay.
Salt has more so related to high blood pressure.
Okay.
And if someone is trying to control their blood pressure, they need to watch and monitor their, I never use the word salt. I would say sodium intake, because sodium is present in other foods as well. We need to always remember that diabetes is a very, it's a very big and influential health condition. If my blood pressure is high and it's not controlled, I am at risk of getting diabetes. So there is no direct relationship between sodium and diabetes, but sodium can cause my blood pressure goes high. And if my blood pressure is continuously not under control, that may cause diabetes, It's a risk factor.
Wow.
Diabetes has some relation to the sugar intake, but I would like to talk about it in more detail. And I think our recipe is really at the end, Christy, but it's a
Yes,
very valid question, the intake of sugar and diabetes. But
Okay.
for sodium, no, unless you have blood pressure. The
Okay.
recipe is at a very interesting stage, so I really want to see what Chef is doing next.
So actually, this
Thank
is
you.
yeah, thank you for the questions, Christy, and thank you for answering them, Amber. I would like to take a small 3-minute break at this point. I think everybody just needs to get up. We're talking about, healthy eating, but part of it is also healthy living. So get up, stretch, have some water, and we'll be back in 3 minutes. So 7:09. All right, so it's 7:09. Let's get started here. The next step of the recipe, Chef.
All right. We already have all the ingredients together. What we are missing is the dressing.
Very important.
Very important, yes. We have some tahini. Everybody knows what tahini is from.
What is tahini, for those of us who don't know?
It's sesame paste. So if I'm not wrong, it's sesame roasted and then put oil in it. And then you put it into a sumaruma, and then you make paste out of it.
It's kind of like peanut butter, but
that's right. It's
sesame seed butter.
It's very, because we are talking how healthy sesame is. Here is another reason to get some sesame seeds in a form of a paste. Okay.
Nice.
So I'm gonna put a little bit more in. Wasn't enough.
Very nice. What else can you do with the sesame seed butter there, Chef?
I'm gonna put some chive in it.
Okay. You're adding more flavor to the dressing. Lovely.
I'm adding flavor to the dressing. And you can put, if you want to, put a little bit salt in it. You can put a little bit of pepper in it. You can add some stuff to it. What else can you use tahini for? It's actually it's good for a lot of things. Whatever dressing you want to make, you can also add it to Asian food. For instance, they have it lots of time in their sauces. You can eat it. Just use a small piece of bread.
Like on a toast or something?
Pardon me?
On a toast, for example?
On a toast, for instance, yes.
All right, nice.
I'm sure Amber has something to say there.
Tahini is also used in lots of Mediterranean food.
That's right.
When they make hummus. Hummus is
yes.
Some of the recipes of hummus they cannot because obviously hummus is on a very vast area, maybe two continents covered. and they make different recipes of hummus, but I know for a fact that they have used tahini as a main ingredient after chickpeas. And this is amazing the way chef is using it, because I had no idea that he could have used it into a salad dressing. And that's why we are here to learn the new variation of the same food. So what did we add next, chef, in that?
Sorry, we have a question. Can you quickly repeat the steps to the dressing again, chef? Just very briefly.
Very simple. You use 0% yogurt, and you use
0%?
a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons, up to you how strong you want the sesame seed into the dressing. Then I put in some chive. You can also use it. Try the dressing before you put salt or pepper or anything in there. Always try your food first.
Amazing. So just very quickly, yogurt, tahini, which is the sesame seed paste, and some spices to add more flavor. Thank you.
I would like to add one thing here for
Yes.
people. Again, as we said, protein is a very important component of our diet. If you guys can use Greek yogurt 0%, that will add more protein to your dish. And Greek yogurt is a little thickened as compared to other yogurt. So that will make your dressing thick. And when you mix with all these things in it, and even if the vegetable releases some water, our dressing stays in the shape and our salad will not be soggy. Like that's my piece. And chef can tell me is if it's a good idea to use Greek yogurt.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right.
It's not a good idea to add. Sorry, I missed that part. It's not
Yes,
a good
it's
idea.
a good idea, because Greek yogurt will add nutritionally, it will add
Oh, yeah.
protein, and consistency wise, it's thicker. So that's where I want chef to endorse it, if it's a good idea to use a thicker dressing in our salad.
Now, can you use water as well for the dressing if, let's say, you don't like dairy or it hurts your
I
stomach?
always put a little bit water if I want it more thinner. Okay,
All right.
then just
Or just
season it
oil?
a little bit more. Yeah,
Okay.
or just a little bit more olive oil. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you.
So the dressing, I'm gonna put a nice amount over here.
Drizzle, wow.
Mm.
Now, do you let the dressing marinate a little bit, like with the salad?
Yes, you could.
How long do you do
Absolutely.
that?
The same thing with the chicken, like we talked before.
5-10 minutes?
Yeah, 5-10 minutes before. Make the dressing first if you want to. And now we're gonna put some of the tomatoes on here.
I love how you lay it out. It looks beautiful.
Yeah, she's making nice fans.
Very beautiful
You
presentation.
always eat with your eyes first, ladies.
Yes, that's a good
So-
point.
And then we're gonna put some of the cucumbers on there.
Oh, look at the color of the salad. So
Lovely.
attractive.
Mm-hmm.
So I put some of the sesame seeds in the
Oh.
salad already, but I'm still gonna put a few on top of it.
That's a good
Edamame
idea.
beans. Edamame beans, you said.
Yeah, oh, sorry. Those are the
Oh.
edamame, and the sesame seeds are coming now. They were all
Nice.
on mine,
Oh.
that's why.
She's ahead of the game all the time. Now you're adding a little bit more of the toasted sesame seeds. Oh, that's very nice.
And the flavor of the toasted sesame seeds, they are so amazing.
Yeah, I can smell it. It's really aromatic.
I feel like I'm smelling it, because as you said, you are eating with your eyes. I can have the flavor in my mouth.
Now, I have a quick question. Is it possible to also add these sesame seeds to the dressing, chef?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, that's another good
You
idea.
can,
And I don't know about you guys, but I always like a little crunch in my salad. So I think this is a wonderful idea to have that roasted sesame seed in our salad to bring a healthy crunch to our salads. I think
Yeah.
it's amazing.
so I almost forgot. We have to put the chicken on. So if you're vegetarian,
None of us are interested in chicken anymore.
yeah, no, it gets.
Oh, we'll also use
Absolutely.
it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, there's just some amazing feedback here, chef, that I wanted to share with you from our participants today. Yummy, very yummy. I'm very hungry. An amazing chef. Thank you.
Thank you,
Keep them
guys.
coming.
Let's continue. Every week we're gonna get
Every
better.
other week, yes.
Every other week.
So because actually Chef Burgi mentioned this, I would like to take this opportunity to just remind you that we do have 4 more upcoming workshops as part of our Cooking for Health series, and they happen every other week. So the next one will be in 2 weeks on August 3rd, I believe, at the same time at 6 p.m. It's going to be the same link. We still have some time left, but if I know some of you may have to go, and that's fine. Christy, I would need you to fill out, because you joined a bit later, if you don't mind, fill out the survey, the pre-programmed survey. Good thing that I remembered. It is in the chat. If you don't mind just taking a few minutes to do that. I'll resend it just in case. But yeah, so the next workshop that we have is August the 3rd, and it's reading nutrition labels, and our recipe is going to be breakfast bean burrito. And then 2 weeks later, we have another one focused on eating well with the plate method for diabetes, and the recipe is squash coriander pilaf. And then the following one is August 31st, with the topic being don't skip, rethink your drink. And we're going to be making muesli or muesli energy bars. And the last one is September 14th, so 2 weeks from then, and that's the last one for the Cooking for Health series, and that will focus on enjoying your desserts, because I'm sure there's so many questions about dessert and diabetes. And so we're going to be covering that, and our recipe is going to be blackberry upside down pudding. Yummy. So keep that in mind, please. If you haven't signed up for the following workshops, please do. Christy, were you able to find the link for the survey? Let me just let me just resend that. All right, so what are we doing next, Chef?
I think I'm more or less I'm done. I'm done with the recipe. I'm done with the chicken. Here's the finished program of the product.
Is there any question for me, Kate, if I wish to leave?
So we covered a lot of them as we went along, but you know, I am interested to know, because we do have some time left, because we did start talking about some truths and myths about diabetes. I'm really curious to know, we did talk about the dessert just now, and I don't think we really covered, you know, for example, one of the things that I hear a lot is diabetes is not a serious condition. And I think you talked a little bit about it, but if you don't mind to kind of just going over some of the things related to that notion or assumption.
Oh, no, but it's a very important question, because as I already said, the higher prevalence in our area, in our region, in overall Canada, actually, region of Peel has the highest number of diabetes. We need to know these important facts. Diabetes is a very serious condition if it is not controlled. If you don't bother diabetes, diabetes won't bother you. I use this very bitter statement. I know most people may not like it, but I want to say it out loud because it's the reality. No one dies of diabetes, but people die of the complications of diabetes. So yes, diabetes is a very serious condition. In fact, it may cause other chronic health conditions like brain stroke, heart attack, blindness, kidney failure, foot issues, foot ulcers, and sometimes amputations. So yes, that will make diabetes very serious of a condition. But if you control it, if you make sure that you follow your healthcare team, your doctor's advice in managing diabetes, diabetes is happy and we are happy and healthy. Well-controlled diabetes has a very reduced or limited risk of complications. I'm going to use this example of actually one of our clinicians. I worked with her for almost 9 years now. And with her permission, we always use her example. She has type 1 diabetes, a little bit more difficult to manage because their pancreas are not producing any insulin. She was diagnosed at the age of 11, and right now she is 50 plus. So definitely 45, 48 years of her life, or 45 years of her life with diabetes, and she's healthy. Her kidney is functioning really well. Her foot are healthy, both feet are healthy, no problems with cardiac issues. So yes, diabetes can be controlled. It can be very serious. All of us who know people who are living with diabetes, all of us who are living with diabetes, please connect with your healthcare team. And here I want to add a little piece about, because all of you lives in either Malton or Brampton, or you are from the same region. Government has actually funded these diabetes education program that are literally for your service. No money, no charges, government pay us, there are funding available, but there are certified diabetes educators that includes dietitian like me and nurses who provide their services free appointments. You just need to make the phone call and book appointment. In Malton, we are located inside Westwood Mall, or if you have heard the name of Four Corners Health Center. And I already, Kate is going to post the numbers and she will
Yes,
send
I'm
it
going to share a bunch of resources with you tonight via email.
So feel
forward to
free
that.
to call and book appointment if you need assistance, guidance, and education one-on-one for diabetes. I really like the fact when in the beginning Kate says do not share your personal information here, but if you have any questions, feel free to connect with me. Just call and tell them I need appointment with Amber, and then I will call you. And right now we are offering virtual appointments. So you will be staying at the comfort of your own home, and I will be calling you for the appointment. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, hand up. It might be from before, Christy.
Hi.
Yeah, I think I see a hand up, but it might be from before. Was that from before, or did you have another question?
No, it's not my, I don't think it's
Okay.
my hand.
Okay.
I send my question to Amber directly. She will read it.
Okay, I will check that.
No, you sent it to me, but that's okay. You can retype it if you want it to be private, and you can resend it to her. But again, the best thing, because we're using Zoom and recording this session, if it is related to your health, best thing to book an appointment with Amber.
Okay.
All right. So one more thing that I would like to ask about Amber quickly in regards to diabetes. And we hear a lot about that sort of maybe body shaming or positive like body sense. So is it true? And I know this is a misconception, but I'm just asking because I want your feedback, that is it true that overweight or obese individuals will eventually develop type 2 diabetes?
Okay, so partially yes, partially no. The overweight and obese may in itself it may not cause diabetes, but it will increase insulin resistance inside the body. So what would happen? Insulin is there, but because of the fat between like body and organs and outside the cell, insulin won't be able to do its function. What was the function? Bring the sugar molecule inside the cell for energy production. We call it metabolism, because if there is a fat in between, it may not do it. So for people who are obese or who have abdominal obesity, their insulin is struggling a lot. But the positive side is if you are physically active, it addresses directly onto the insulin resistance. So if maybe I'm a little overweight, but I do a lot of physical activity, mostly aerobic physical activity that includes, but not limited to jogging, running, skipping, dancing, swimming, walking, free of cost. You don't need any money for walking. You actually address the problem of insulin resistance and it comes down, and it will make your insulin to work smoother. Overweight is just not the greatest thing. Try to ensure, and again, we need to understand that there is not a magical number of weight. We don't like abdominal obesity. Weight is just a number. So if you are muscular and your number for the weight is higher, that could be your muscles weight and it's a good thing. But if you have abdominal obesity, you are not muscular and it's mostly fat, then it's a bad news. It could be a bad news for your cholesterol levels, because then your arteries started getting blocked because the fat is sitting there. So always don't judge yourself on the basis of the number that is coming on the scale. See your body shape. If there is abdominal obesity, seems like, yes, I am sitting all the time, which is why I'm accumulating extra fat there, then I need to walk and I need to be active, physically active. So yes, I try to make it into the positive thing. I'm also against body shaming and giving stress to people. They look into the normal body weight. There's no normal body weight. Yes, there is a range for normal BMI, which we use for assessment as per our discretion. But again, not everything is for everyone. For everyone, just look at the shape of your body. We just don't like abdominal obesity because abdominal obesity or waist circumference is a bigger risk than weight.
Right, good point. And I think, like, as you're talking about this, what comes to mind is really looking at the big picture too. So we had this small break. Give yourself breaks. Little things matter throughout the day. What you eat is so important, but it's also the little things and how you can include that physical activity, even just getting up and walking or cleaning, gardening, any of those little things, like Amber said, walking, they're so important. So every little bit matters, and it's about the lifestyle, not a particular, body category or necessarily body weights, right? So keeping that in mind. The last thing I want to ask you, Amber, before we wrap up, another sort of thing that you hear a lot is the diabetes diet. It's so complicated. Like, people just don't want to bother. Is that true or not?
There is no diabetic diet. Please, people, there is no diabetic diet. Don't go and ask Mr. Google that question, because that will give you some answer. It's always healthy eating. Which is what we are doing right now. Like, you guys have learned so many little points. I always say, the formula of healthy eating. We learned a healthy salad today. We talk about carbohydrates, protein, good quality protein, good quality carbohydrates. Mm-hmm. So diabetic diet is a very, very wrong word. We always say healthy eating with diabetes, healthy eating for a healthy lifestyle. And in the coming up sessions, if you look into the flyer and the intro that Kate has made for us, she basically incorporated all different basic concepts of healthy eating. Like
we'll share that today.
Healthy plate model. We're going to talk about meal spacing and regularity. And I know myself, like I'm going to continuously, with the help of Chef Burgi, talking about healthier options of food, which is okay for blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, osteoporosis, any chronic health condition. We need healthy eating. We don't need a specific diet for that. And we will be talking about it all throughout
the coming weeks. Yeah, thank you, for talking about that and clarifying that, because what you eat should be fun and delicious. It should not be boring. It's just about managing your condition with the foods that you're eating and making small adjustments while still enjoying those favorite foods that we talked about when we introduced each other earlier, and enjoying those things, but maybe in moderation, or just adjusting the recipe, adding less fat, and those little things will make a big difference. I do see the time, and it's 7:29. It's been such a pleasure having you, Amber, here with us, and having Chef Burgi with us here, and showing us the recipe, and just all the participants. Thank you all for joining us today, because you made it so much more fun and engaging with all your questions and your lovely comments, which made us, I think, super excited and know that we're on the right track. So I would ask Chef, just as a wrap up, if she would show us the beautiful images we see on TV when chefs cook food, if she would do us the honor of actually trying this amazing salad. Okay. And vicariously through this experience, we will know that it's super delicious. And hopefully some of you were able to make this at home today with us as well. And if not, then maybe you can try it, this week or weekend when you have a chance.
Actually, I made one just for you. It's a vegetarian option.
Lovely. Thank you so much.
Yes.
This looks great. Okay, so we're going to try it together.
Yeah. Let me know.
Oh my God, I am so jealous.
That's one
Are you?
for you. Amber.
All right, Chef, you go first.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers. Wow, how is that?
It's amazing.
My turn.
It's really tasty. It's roasted nicely.
Oh my God, I am hungry.
It's really 100% delicious. All right, everybody. So I will be sending you
Thank you.
resources today, tonight, I should say. Again, somebody said, thank you so much. Millions of blessings.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate everybody, and we hope to see you in 2 weeks.
See ya.
Thank
Perfect.
you. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Good night.
Good night.